My name is David Miller. I'm 29 and I live in Omaha, Nebraska. I drive a lot for work, often late at night. Over the years, I've gotten used to empty highways and eerie silences, but something happened last week that I can't shake. It was just past midnight and I was driving home from Kansas City after a work meeting. The highway stretched endlessly ahead, dark and deserted. My gas light blinked on, and I realized I hadn't paid attention to the last few exits. Up ahead, I spotted a small, rundown gas station. The fluorescent lights flickered, and the sign buzzed faintly in the still air. It looked like one of those places you only stop at if you're desperate. And I was. There was only one other car parked by the pumps, an old sedan with a peeling paint job. Leaning against it was a man in his late 40s, tall and scruffy, with a trucker hat pulled low over his face. He didn't move, didn't even glance away when I pulled in. I got out of my car and started pumping gas. Almost immediately, I felt his eyes on me. The air felt heavy, like something was wrong. "Long drive?" the man asked suddenly, his voice gravelly and sharp. I looked up, forcing a polite smile. "Yeah, heading home." He nodded slowly, still staring. "This highway's dangerous at night. Lot of crazy people out here." His words sent a shiver down my spine, but I tried to brush it off. "Yeah, you're probably right," I said, focusing on the pump as the numbers climbed. He took a step closer. "You heading toward Lincoln?" His question caught me off guard, and I hesitated before answering. Sort of," I replied cautiously. "Think you could give me a ride?" "My car's acting up," he said, gesturing vaguely to his vehicle. There was something off about the way he asked. His tone was casual, but his body language felt tense, like he was ready to pounce. "Sorry," I said, keeping my voice steady. "I'm not really going that far." His expression shifted, and his jaw tightened. "Simon, man, just to the next town. It's not far." I shook my head firmly, sensing his frustration grow. "I really can't. Sorry about that." His eyes narrowed, and he took another step toward me. "You sure about that?" Alarm bells were ringing in my head. My hand shook as I quickly finished pumping gas, barely managing to screw the cap back on. I avoided his gaze, muttering something about being late, and got into my car. The second I closed the door, I hit the lock button. He stood there, staring at me, his fists clenched at his sides. For a moment, I thought he might try to open the door or break the window. Instead, he smirked and stepped back, his eyes never leaving mine. The moment my engine roared to life, I sped out of the station, heart pounding in my chest. For the next several miles, I kept glancing in my rearview mirror, half expecting to see his car chasing me. But the highway was empty. Slowly, my breathing began to steady, though I couldn't shake the unease that lingered. An hour later, I turned on the radio to drown out the silence. Static filled the car before a news anchor's voice broke through. "Breaking news. Police are investigating a crime at a gas station off Highway 36. A family of 4 was found dead in their car, and authorities are searching for a suspect described as a white male in his 40s, last seen wearing a trucker hat and a dark jacket. He is considered armed and dangerous." My blood ran cold. The description was an exact match for the man at the gas station. The anchor continued. "The suspect was reportedly seen asking for rides earlier in the evening. If you encounter this individual, do not approach him. Call law enforcement immediately." I pulled over to the side of the road, my hands trembling on the wheel. The man's smirk flashed in my mind, along with the way his fists had clenched when I turned him down. If I'd let him into my car, I might have ended up just like that family. The realization hit me like a punch to the gut. For a long time, I just sat there, staring out at the empty highway. The silence felt suffocating, the weight of what could have happened crushing. Eventually, I started driving again, but I couldn't focus. Every mile brought new flashes of his face, his voice asking for a ride. I made it home that night, but I haven't been able to sleep since. Every time I close my eyes, I think about how close I came to becoming a victim. I don't think I'll stop driving at night. It's part of my job. But one thing's for sure, I'll never stop at another lonely gas station again.